The Mauricio Pochettino U.S. men's national team era started off with a 2-0 win over Panama. The same Panama that recently knocked out the United States men's national team from the Copa America in the group stage, and the same Panama that knocked out the U.S. men's national team in the 2023 Gold Cup semifinals. So hey, we start off with a win. That's good. There's a lot of positives. There's very few, if any, negatives. So what did we learn? Hi, if you're new here, I'm Filippo, and welcome to Tactical Manager TV, and welcome to the 7 Things We Learned series, where every single day following a U.S. men's national team match, we tell you 7 things that we learned. Now, look, here in Florida, we were recently dealing with Hurricane Milton, so I'm obviously not in the studio. I'm not at home. I'm dealing with a power outage, so this here will have to do for now. With that said, let me know in the comment section down below, what did you learn from United States 2? Panama 0, Pochettino's debut. There's obviously more than 7 lessons, so you can let me know in the comment section, and obviously drop a like in the video, because why not? Let's try to hit 1,000 likes. All right, let's roll the intro, and let's go to lesson number 1. Lesson number 1 is that this was a positive start to the Pochettino era. For starters, a win is a win. Sure, you can say that the performance was underwhelming, and I agree. We didn't play that well, and honestly, the game wasn't that good. I don't think we also created that many chances. We should have created a lot more, and we were vulnerable at times on defense. Panama probably should have scored a goal, but we still got a 2-0 win. There were some changes in the team that we're going to talk about tactically that he did. That was a big positive, but it's just a positive start to his era. He will learn. He's getting to know the player pool. Plus, we're missing like 15 players. Many of them are key players like Tyler Adams, Johnny, Weah, Balogun, Gio Reyna. I can keep going. Serginho Dest and many others. And another thing to say is, if Pochettino was in charge for, let's say, 12 months, there would be some heavy criticism, but it was his very first game. It's the first camp that he's in charge. We must be patient. I'm not disagreeing that the performance alone wasn't great. It wasn't, but it also wasn't terrible. Things have to improve, and I am 100% sure that they will improve. So once again, in my opinion, this was a positive start. Lesson number 2. One minor noticeable improvement with this team right away was the fluidity. And sure, it wasn't perfect, and it's never going to be perfect the first time they played or tried Pochettino's tactics and approach, but the team looked far more fluid compared to the Berhalter era one. No dull patterns of play, no excessive crossing. Again, far from perfect, but better. It's something. Baby steps. Baby steps. We also had a different tactical setup in possession, a back 3 with a double pivot, what we would call maybe a 3-2 base. That's some way to go about it. Pulisic and Brendan were tucked inside as 10s, and then Anthony Robinson and Musa were the ones providing width. So A-Rob wasn't really helping on the build-out. It's interesting to see how this is going to work moving forward, what he will change, if he will try this with the other players that we have. I think he'll try it with the best players that we have that are missing as well. But again, it takes time, but it seems like we're heading in the right direction. It was just an interesting, different setup, right? Where Pulisic and Brendan were tucking inside, playing as 10s. And then you essentially had A-Rob and Musa providing with a double pivot, trying to progress the ball forward. The 3 center backs, well, it was actually 2 center backs, right? Ream and McKenzie. But in possession, Joe Scally would position himself as a center back. It's an interesting approach, and I wonder if he's going to try that when we have all the guys that are injured coming back. Like, for example, Scally played as a center back, right, in the back 3 in possession. If Des was there, would he do that? Probably not. How will he adjust? I'm interested in seeing how it will be moving forward, but I kind of liked it. Lesson number 3, I want to praise Gianluca Busio, because he came into the Olympics, played well in the Olympics, then he got injured. Then after that, he returned for Venezia against Milan in the Serie A. Played very well for Venezia there. Has played well for Venezia pretty much every game, looked like one of their best players, even though they might get relegated. Then he comes into this camp. He earns a call-up, rightfully so. Comes into the camp, and he looked like one of our best players yesterday. Very press-resistant, actually fairly decent defending, good on the ball. I thought Busio was quite good, and that is a positive. He probably was not a player I was ever expecting to make it to the 2026 roster, but you know what? Quite honestly, the way he's moving, it could happen. Lesson number 4. Unfortunately, it's something that I think Pochettino will try a couple more times, and that's Brendan Aronson as a 10. And to me, Aronson as a 10 is a no-no. And you know what? Lots of hustle, chaos, but not really much creativity. No control of tempo at all from Brendan Aronson as a 10. Doesn't know when to speed the game or slow it down. All he knows how to do is to speed the game. It's like he's always stepping on the accelerator. Sure, it was a good pass to set up Pulisic in the assist, but one play doesn't change the overall performance. And I thought Brendan Aronson was overall quite poor. Lots of hustle, as always, but that's about it. And he can be a late sub if you need to harass the opponent, because he will hustle, he will fight, he does press well, and all those things. And of course, he's not a bad player by any means, but I just don't think it works as a 10. Try Tillman as a 10. He can actually create. Obviously, Gio Reyna when he's back. And with this roster, maybe even try Weston McKennie as a 10. Sure, he's not going to be essentially a creator, even though he can pick a pass. He's shown that with Juve. He led Juve last season in assists, but McKennie's also a goal-scoring threat. He can play almost as a shadow striker 10, almost a little bit like that Dele Alli role that Pochettino had in play for Tottenham, right, when they made it to the Champions League final. I would rather see Tillman or Weston play the 10 than Aronson when we face Mexico. Lesson number 5 is that Folading Balogun, our center forward, Balogun, that's not even in camp because of a dislocated shoulder. I just want to say this. Balogun's job as the starting 9 for the U.S. men's national team, oh boy, it's safe. Because let's be real. First, Josh Sargent. He dropped another stinker. When was the last time he even scored for the national team? When was the last time that he actually performed well for the national team? And I'm not saying banish Josh Sargent from the national team, but again, he's not going to surpass Balogun, even though I never thought he would have anyway. The other one is Ricardo Pepi. He came off the bench, did a lot of defending, and then scored the one chance he got. That'll probably earn him the start against Mexico, rightfully so. But again, Balogun is clearly the starter, and it will remain that way once he's back from injury. I never really thought Pepi or Sargent could challenge Balogun, and to be fair, Pepi came in, defended a lot, and then scored. Sargent dropped a stinker. If there was any shot of Sargent challenging Balogun, it was quite clear this game, once again, that he's not at the same level as Balogun or anywhere near that, and I don't think Pepi is as well. So as I said, this lesson number 5, is Balogun's job is pretty freaking safe. Lesson number 6, and this one is quite interesting because I've said this multiple times during the Berhalter era, and I'm going to say it again. And the good thing is Pochettino seems to be willing to adapt. And the lesson is, I truly believe the U.S. men's national team cannot play out of the back. Look at it this way. Panama just doesn't have the quality to punish you for mistakes or bad giveaways, which we do way too much trying to play out of the back. Tim Ream and Mark McKenzie actually looked fine as ball-playing defenders, especially McKenzie this game. But Scally was kind of meh, right? And he was one of the center backs essentially in possession to play out of the back. Matt Turner, he cannot play with his feet. I swear, man, I think Matt Turner, of course, as a goalkeeper, he's better than me. I stink as a goalkeeper, even as a professional player in general. But when it comes to technical ability with your feet, I think Turner might be worse than tactical manager. Maybe worse than some of you when it comes to passing and distribution. Shot stopping, he's fine. And he was actually really good this game, Matt Turner. But he can't play with his feet. A-Rob, clearly Pochettino saw that he can't play out of the back too or help on the build-out. So A-Rob was pushed high up the field. I don't think the U.S. men's national team can play out of the back. I said this during the Berhalter era. I will continue to say it. And the good thing is that Pochettino has made it clear that he is willing to adapt. They asked him about this, I think, a few days ago, not after this game, but before, and he said he doesn't want to die with his ideas. He wants to live. He wants to win. So if he feels like we can't play out of the back, he will adapt. And since he's a very smart guy and he knows soccer more than most of us, if not all of us, depending on who's watching this, I don't know, maybe Pep Guardiola's watching this video. Probably not. Maybe we're kind of BFFs, so maybe he is watching. I think Pochettino will realize that very soon, and when we play against better opponents, we will not try to play out of the back. Better opponents would punish us. Panama just didn't have the quality to do so. And let's be real, Panama was quite wasteful. Lesson number 7, and if you made it this far in the video, don't forget to drop a like and comment down below. What did you learn from United States 2, Panama 0, Pochettino's debut? Lesson number 7 is patience, my young Padawan. And no, I'm not Master Yoda. I'm much cooler than Yoda. And I'm also alive, unlike Yoda. And probably better looking than Yoda. Unless you're into aliens. Pochettino's clearly testing, learning about the players that he has. I don't even think he really dove into tactics yet. Sure, there were some implementations because we even saw that in the game, but not that much. Let's not overreact yet. For the better or for the worse. Sure, let's look into it, try to see where we have to improve, talk about it, what he's testing, what he's doing, so we can try to figure out what he's looking forward to and what he's building, right? He still has to build a culture. He still has to implement his style of play, system, a lot. And we must be patient. We're going to play Mexico on Tuesday. Regardless of what happens, we must try to not overreact. If we beat Mexico, let's celebrate. That'll be huge. It'll be tremendous. Get hyped. But let's not overreact for the better or for the worse. We can also lose. It's also not all doom and gloom, right? He's still learning the players he had. Plus, as I said earlier in the video, we're missing like 15 guys, some very important guys like Tyler Adams, Johnny, Balogun, Reyna, Weah, Dest, Chris Richards, Carter Vickers, so many players. We must be patient. But as I said at lesson number 1, this was a positive start to the Pochettino era, and you should be excited. All right, everyone, thank you very much for watching. On Monday, or the day after this video, we will be releasing a USA versus Mexico match preview, and hopefully by the time we do the live stream for the United States versus Mexico, I hope to have electricity back in Tampa so I can head back home and do it from the studio. If not, we're going to continue to do here until power is back, because the power outage has been bad. Hurricane Milton was an asshole. I truly hate that guy. Now, I want to thank you all very much for watching. Drop a like before you go. Thank you, everyone that joined our Patreon, and have a great day.